The cats got an early Christmas present from Santa.
Let's make homemade cat food. I'm a cat food chef.
Well, it's actually from a viewer who gifted this to the cats. Thank you very much, Pat, for this very amazing and very generous gift to the cats. It is a Weston meat grinder, and it just arrived, and I'm just about to take it out of the box. It's really heavy, so let's see how this goes. It is a Weston Butcher Series number 12, and this is a heavy-duty meat grinder that will grind through bones and everything, and this will be great to make raw food for the cats. Okay, let's check out the side of the box. It says durability, all metal, precision engineered gears for quiet performance and rugged durability. Commercial grade, power, 3/4 horsepower, 560 watts air-cooled motor for grinding up to 9 pounds a minute. Speed, extra wide offset throat with rifled head design makes these the fastest grinders on the market. Includes auger grabbing stomper, 2 stainless steel plates, grinder knife, and sausage stuffing kit. This is what it looks like when I open the box. So we have the documentation here for the meat grinder. And here we have the meat grinder and the various parts. So let's go through this. Here is the meat grinder. It's quite heavy, so it's a good workout. And this is the unit with the motor. Then we also have the tray, which had a sticker over the hole, and it was really hard to get the sticker off, and then there was sticky stuff all over it, so this has already been washed and scrubbed down. And then we have this piece. This piece is also really heavy. This is the chute where the meat comes out of. Over here, that is the grinding disc. It comes with 2 discs. This disc has the larger holes, and this has all been taken apart and washed down also. This is the other disc with smaller holes. I was told to use the larger holes, which I'm using for anything with bones, and the smaller holes for anything without bones, like if you're making ground meat. These are 3 different size of sausage tubes. You put this on the end and it extrudes the ground meat for making sausage. And then here's the stomper piece that you use in here to stomp down the meat. And then there's also this, I guess it's like an auger tool. I'm not sure where this goes yet. This is the parts diagram that comes with this meat grinder. And if we want to go over the parts, number 1 is the front ring nut. Number 2 is the 4.5 millimeter grinding plate. Number 3 is the grinding knife. Number 4 is the auger pin. Number 5 is the auger. Number 6 is the auger bearing. Number 7 is the stainless steel head. Number 8 is the rubber feet with nuts. Number 9 is the head locking knob. Number 10 is the stainless steel tray. Number 11 is the auger grabbing stomper. Number 12 is the 7 millimeter grinding plate. And number 13 is the stuffer assembly, which I think I'm missing part of the stuffer assembly. Like, I don't see this or that anywhere. Okay, I just found this piece. This piece was still in the box. And then this is the plastic ring, the other part of the stuffer assembly. Okay, so here we have the grinder. It is all assembled. It was really easy to assemble. The hardest part was actually putting this tray into this unit here. It says don't run it without putting any meat in it, so I'm not going to turn it on now. But I am going to get meat ready for grinding. This is what I am using to make the cat's food right now. I have 2 packages of chicken drumsticks, 1 package of chicken breasts, and those are boneless chicken breasts. And then I have some chicken livers and some chicken hearts, and these are from the freezer. I had purchased like bigger portions of those several weeks ago, and then I portioned them out into smaller portions for the food, and they've been in the freezer. So the last time I made homemade food, I used the frozen hearts and livers, and that's what I'm using again. I'll most likely also add some wheatgrass powder, maybe a few other things or not, but as far as the meat goes, this is what I'm using. Now, I bought the meat today. I went to the supermarket earlier, and I made sure that the meat I bought had today's date on it as the pack on date, because I wanted the freshest meat possible. There's no smell in this meat. It does not smell bad. There's no funky odor. So those are the two things you really want to look for. Make sure you buy the freshest meat possible, with today's date if possible, and also when you get home and when you open it, make sure there's no odors. I'm going to start with the chicken breasts. These chicken breasts are pretty big. I don't know if they're going to even fit in that hole, but I'm going to give them a try. I was also told that you have to be careful when you first start grinding because the meat can shoot across the room. So I've put some aluminum foil on the end of this, so in case that happens, it will help stop that from happening. And I also have this pan here to catch the ground meat. Okay, here we go. I'm just about to turn it on, and let's see if we can grind up some chicken breasts. I'm going to start with the boneless meat first, and then work my way up to the bones. That worked really great. It was really easy. Now I am going to try the legs with the bones in them. That worked amazingly well for chicken legs. There were some chicken legs that were really big that I did not think were gonna go in this hole, but they went in no problem. And I was really curious as to the bones, and yeah, the bones are not big pieces at all. They're small pieces in here. Like, if I had to describe them, it would almost be like a hard grain of rice. That's what I feel as far as bones. So the next thing I am going to try is the frozen meat, and let's see if that works. Okay, the frozen organ meat was probably not the best idea because I feel like it clogged up the grinder a little bit. There's still a piece of like the frozen livers in there, but it definitely did the job well. So now that I have all of this ground up meat, what I want to do is mix this all together and get this portioned out into scoops and in the freezer. So I want to mix up the white meat with the dark meat with the organ meat. I want to make sure everything is nicely combined. pretty much like making a giant meatloaf. Right here I have a sheet pan with some wax paper on it, and this is my cookie scoop. So what I am going to do is start scooping out the food, portioning it onto this sheet pan, and then once the pan is full, this is going to go in the freezer for this to freeze and set up so I could then put it into baggies. And again, the nice thing about scooping out the raw food this way for freezing is that it is pre-portioned. I just take out 4 of these scoops to feed the cats, or 6 or 8 depending on whether they're getting other food with it. And then the nice thing is you can also fit a lot on a sheet pan, because unlike cookies, this does not expand when you freeze it, so there's no spreading. So that is what I am doing, and this will probably do 2 or even 3 sheet pans full of scoops, and I'll be really curious to see how the cats like it. This will be the first time they've had homemade raw food with bones in it. I did not want to add anything else to it. The last time I made homemade food for the cats, it was just thighs, breasts, and some of the cat grass powder, which is basically like a wheatgrass powder. So this time I'm doing the same thing, and the only difference is it also has the chicken bones in it. So I want to see how they like it, if they like it better. I don't want to change it up too much. They ate the food the last time I made it, and I want to just make sure that they eat it again. And here we have a full sheet pan full of raw cat food scoops. This is 24 scoops. This will be enough for 6 meals if they get 1 scoop each. Here's the second tray of scoops. This is going to go in the freezer also. And I'm only a little bit more than halfway through the meat. This is gonna make a lot of food. I also lined this baking pan with some wax paper, and I have some scoops on here also. The reason why is because there is not going to be enough room in the freezer unless I double stack some of these. And by putting them in this pan with the high sides, I can then put another sheet pan on top of this, and none of these scoops will be squashed. There's plenty of room, and then I just doubled the amount of scoops I could freeze in that section. And there we have it. There's the final tray of scoops. This is going to go in the freezer, and then in about an hour or 2, all of these frozen scoops or semi-frozen scoops will be put into Ziploc bags. So this is what the freezer is looking like. I still have some bags of like the primal raw duck, which they don't really like, and the Nature's Variety raw, which they have been eating. And then here's the pan with the homemade scoops on top, so that can freeze. And then here is the double-decker pan. So we have some scoops in here, and it has the high sides. And then there's the other pan on top, and nothing is being squashed, and there's plenty of airflow so that the ones on the bottom should have no problem with freezing or anything. The other pan is here wedged on top of the freezer. I want to give the cats each a little taste of the new food to see if they will like it. Boo, you want to taste it? You want to taste it? It's over here. Look, I put it down here for you. Over here. You want to test it? Here. Come here. Eat it. It's right there. You could eat it. You like it. Come here. Yummy. Let's see if Simba will eat some of the new food. Boo didn't want it. Here you go, Simba. You going to eat it? Simba should like it. Simba likes everything. Want to eat it? It's food. You don't want it either? Why don't you want it, Simba? I made it just for you. Simba's gonna taste it. I had to give him a few pets first. He says, I won't taste this unless you pet me first. The bones are small enough that the cats can pretty much just swallow them. It's not like they have to really gnaw at the bone pieces, but it is good for their health to get the minerals that are in the bones. Especially for carnivores who are not getting minerals in like fruits and vegetables. They really need the minerals in the bones. That's why it's so important that they get bones in their diet. This is Boo's portion that he did not want to eat. I'm going to take it outside to Hydrox. Let's see if Hydrox will eat it. I just went out to look for Hydrox, and I don't see him, so he must have walked away somewhere. But I put this plate with the new raw food out. And hopefully we'll see if he eats it, or if another animal comes by and eats it. Okay, Hydrox just walked over to the food. He smelled the raw food, and then he went over to the canned food. So Hydrox does not want to eat the raw food, and that's the same reaction I've gotten out of him every time I've tried to feed him any of the raw food. He doesn't really seem to like it. Here's Splash, and here's Stella, and I'm gonna let them try the new food. There you go, Stella. You can eat it. You like it. Here, you want this one? I just gave some to Splash. He should eat it. This is pretty much like the exact same recipe that I just made last time. The only difference is it has the bones in the chicken drumsticks instead of boneless thighs. So they should like it. And this is one of the reasons why I've been, putting the other raw food, the commercial raw food, on top of the homemade raw, so they kind of get used to it, and so that they eat both. So he's giving it a try. He seems to like it. Obviously, these paper plates are not ideal, but it's just for a sample taste. Okay, so Simba likes it, and Splash likes it. I think I could get Boo to eat it by putting like a treat in it, or if I put like one of the freeze-dried nuggets. I just squashed a freeze-dried bite on top of it. Not a big nugget, one of those little bites. I didn't totally crush it up, but I just kind of crushed it into large pieces and then pushed the large pieces into the raw food. So let's see what he does. I'm kind of trapped downstairs until he eats, because if I go upstairs, he follows me upstairs. And then he wants to eat upstairs. So as long as I stay down here, he'll eat on the steps. I definitely think by having the bone in the food, it will be good for Boo's teeth, to have the extra minerals from the bone in his diet. That really can't harm his teeth at all. If anything, it could be good for his teeth. Maybe it's a thing where cats with FIV have higher mineral requirements, and because the food that Boo's been eating hasn't really had enough bone in it, or any bone at all, Maybe that's been affecting his teeth. I don't know. These are all speculations. There's so much information that is lacking with regards to cats and their natural diets and FIV requirements, and a lot of people just kind of take things as the status quo and never question anything, and I am always of the opinion that everything should be questioned. And again, it's good to question versus inflicting opinions on things. You know, there's a difference. This is what Boo left on his plate. It's just a tiny bit of the raw food left with the freeze-dried bites on top. So let's see if Stella will finish it. All the other cats ate some.
Cat food chef, I'm a cat food chef. I make all of the food for my cats myself. Cat food chef, I'm a cat food chef. It's healthier and cheaper than what's sold on a shelf.